Hej allihopa! Jag heter Matt, jag är från USA och jag talar svenska. Hej då!
Hey allihopa, hi everyone, welcome to another video from Say It In Swedish. I'm not throwing confetti today because I'm at my desk, so I would have confetti in my mixer, in my keyboard and in my coffee, but here's a shot of me throwing confetti. Today we're gonna talk about prepositions, because people learning a language, they think they can just translate a preposition one-to-one and then that applies for all situations, which is not really true. I love prepositions just because of that, because it also shows how people think when they speak those languages. Which I think is pretty interesting, but today we're specifically going to talk about på and i, because those really they can be confusing. Alright, so på means quite literally on in Swedish. So we have something on the table, it is på bordet. If I have something on my head, it is på huvudet. And i quite literally means that something is in something, inside of something. So I can have something in a box, i lådan, or I can have something in my stomach, i magen. Now, prepositions can have more abstract uses, and therein lies our problem. That's why so many language learners, they get confused, because you can't just translate the preposition on into any language and use it in the same way as you do in English, because those languages will use another preposition for that use. So don't do that. All right. So you guys, Swedish learners, you get pretty confused by the use of på. When we talk about buildings, for instance, it seems like a solid, concrete way of talking about buildings, but it really is more abstract. We are thinking about it, or thinking of it as some kind of institution. Let me explain with an example. So we say, for instance, på bio, which means at the cinema. So here, på means at. The same goes for konsert, på konsert, at a concert. Or for instance, på förskolan, at kindergarten, basically. In German, I have a lot of German viewers. Hallo, Grüße. Here, in German, we would say in instead. So we would use the preposition in, and that's what they confuse this with i in Swedish. So here we would say im kino, im Konzert, or in der Kita, for instance. So på here is just at. It's like more of an abstract way of thinking of it. We're not talking about the building, we're talking about the institution that is in this building. Does that make sense? So when we say i in Swedish, we are talking about the actual building, not the institution. So if we were to say i bion, in the cinema, we are actually talking about the building. There was a fire inside of the cinema, so i bion. Or i förskolan, there was a fire, i förskolan, or something like that. In the kindergarten itself, in the building. Obviously, I don't have an example for the concert here, because the concert is abstract. It's not a building. It's, abstract in English as well. But as you can see here, i means that we are inside of the actual building, and på means that we are inside of what's inside the building, so to speak, the abstract company in the building, or we are in that institution inside that building. So here you can definitely see that på and i have two distinct, different uses, right? So now you understand why we do this in Swedish. In this case, på means at and not on top, right? But we also use på for public transportation, basically. So you can be på bussen and på tåget. Just like in English, you are on the bus and on the train. In German, however, you are in the train and in the bus. So that confuses them as well, the Germans. In English, in this case, it's pretty straightforward because you could just translate on one-to-one to på. But as you can see, it's more of an, like also in English, it's more of an at situation here. It's more abstract. You're at the bus or at the train. If you think about it, you are not literally on top of the train and on top of the bus. So in English, in this case, it's most like Swedish, which is pretty interesting. You have the same mindset there in a way. And like I said, in German, since I have a lot of German viewers, I just wanted to go through this. And you will definitely have this problem in other languages as well. Of course, there are exceptions. For instance, we say I matsalen for in the cafeteria, not på matsalen. But in some cases, you can choose because the difference in nuance is here, so doesn't really matter. For instance, på slottet and I slottet for at the castle and in the castle. It kind of means the same in this case. But with the expression that you are going to a movie or a cinema, for instance, or going to a concert, you are going to the abstract thing inside of that building. But a castle is always going to be a castle, even though there is no royalty there. It's still a castle. It's always going to be a castle. So that's why på and I kind of works. And the same goes for City Hall. I Stadshuset and på Stadshuset. At City Hall and in City Hall. Even though you're inside the City Hall, it's the building is always gonna be built probably to be a city hall, right? So yeah, here you can choose. But if you are going to the movies, du går på bio, right? I really hope my rambling made a little bit of sense here, but a rule of thumb that I just developed 2 seconds ago, it would be that the more abstract something is, we would use på, and the more like a castle, for instance, is always going to be a castle. The more blended it is, we can choose, etc. And if we really want to emphasize that we're inside of that building, we use I. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. And if you want more examples and usages of på and I and other prepositions, check out lesson 29 at sayitinswedish.com. And obviously, you should check out all the other lessons as well. They are free. Link is in the description down below. If you want to talk to me, you can do that on our Discord server. Link to that is also in the description. And if you want to support me and the project and unlock some extra material on Say It In Swedish or extra functions, you can become a Patreon member. All right, that was it for this lesson. Ha det bra. Vi ses i nästa video. Puss och kram och nyp i stjärten. Hej då!
And as always, I wanted to thank my patrons, especially Kelly Primo, Chris Whitmire, Lily, Lane Bartlett, and Traveler Luke. Thank you guys so much. Tack så mycket. And why not watch another video when you're here? Click here, now.
Jag kan inte... Kan jag få prata mer? Okej.